What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. As full-time reaction to you need to laugh, mate.
You can't even like muster like your voice,
Dortmund
mate.
7, Celtic 1. Callum and Darren are here with me.
Wish we weren't.
After watching that unfold, Darren came into this game with a lot of confidence off the back of domestic forum, beating Bratislava. That's the most exposed I've ever seen a Celtic team in my lifetime.
Well, of course there's a big difference between St Johnstone and Champions League finalists the last season. I mean, you come in with the confidence of beating a team like Bratislava 5-1, who, when I seen at half-time, they were only 2-0 down against Man City. But when you come here, you don't expect to win, right? You don't expect to come away thinking we have just beat the Champions League finalists the last season. But what you do hope for is a bit of competition, and I see none of that tonight. You just said there in your opening bit that you've never seen us so exposed, and you couldn't have put it better. I know we lost Carter Vickers, and it's always a huge loss whenever we lost Carter Vickers. But when you're playing a team like Dortmund, who you know they do concede goals, but they also score goals, and you saw it in the first 10 minutes, they score a penalty, and then we score a few minutes later, we score immediately, and you're thinking, we have a game on our hands. And before I'm done even facing back to the field again, we've conceded again. And it just set the tone for the rest of the game. I know Trusty is in such a bad position where he's been forced into the team to start a Champions League game against a team like Dortmund, and it's going to be very unfair to pick him out and say he's rubbish, he's nowhere near Carter Vickers. It's unfair because if you look all around the team, they looked so flustered straight away. You've got that, we saw it, we were facing the yellow wall. It's something I've never seen and probably never will see again in football. It must be intimidating, but as a player, when you're representing Celtic, I know it's hard at the Champions League and we're playing big dogs like Borussia Dortmund, but you need to show that level of, don't want to say professionalism, but just like go out there and show that you deserve to be there. The phrase rabbit in the headlights just comes to mind as soon as, not just from kick-off, the first couple of minutes we just looked so outward depth. We try to play football, we try to play against Dortmund, and it could have worked because, like I just said, that they do concede as much as they score. But you saw it, like, you saw the difference in class within the first 10 minutes. Obviously they get the penalty. That's just typical Celtic in Europe, that naivety just to give away a penalty. But to get yourself back in the game and then concede again 2 minutes later, it's a cracking finish from Adeyemi. But just keep yourself in the game, and to be down 5-1 at half time, I've never seen that for Celtic. Even when we went to the Nou Camp against Prime Barcelona, we didn't see that. There's 11 men against 11 men. You've got to do better. I've seen so many Celtic players shy away just for the whole occasion. Even Callum McGregor, it just every time he get the ball, he gave it away. Kyogo, I don't even think I've seen him touch the ball. And then it was just that lacklustre passing, giving the ball away in the final third. And you saw Dortmund within 2 or 3 passes of them having the ball at the halfway line. They were in behind. Trusty just didn't have the pace against Adeyemi, and the Dortmund striker, I don't even know his name, I don't even care anymore. Ase. But even just for him to score, Adeyemi to score a hat-trick in the first half and to give away 2 penalties in the first half, it just seems like typical Celtic away from home in Europe. I'm curious to see what Brendan Rodgers wants to say about it. I don't want to say Brendan Rodgers is going to take the blame for it, because I think that every player, not just one or two, but every single player was terrible tonight. It might sound harsh saying we're playing that against Dortmund, but every player was terrible.
No, that's right. And Callum, I think it's difficult to look at individuals and say he was terrible. I think collectively we were terrible. As a team game, I think the set-up tonight, if I ask you just asked you before we came on here, who's the best Champions League manager in your lifetime? And the answer's Gordon Strachan. And why is it Gordon Strachan? Because he was pragmatic. I think we went to, maybe we thought because of the form we're in, the form Dortmund are in, that we could go and get at Dortmund tonight, and we went at them, we tried to press them. We were tactically, technically, physically
destroyed.
Like woefully inept against that Dortmund team tonight, like so far off it.
I'm maybe going to agree with everything that Dan says, apart from one. I do blame Rodgers. It's not his first season at the club. Dortmund are also 5th in the Bundesliga. I know they got to a Champions League final. I respect that, of course I do. But there's not a 7-1 gap on paper anyway. I don't think that. Celtic should have been able to compete. Whether that means you can win, probably not. But compete.
It's on the players for me.
Shambles,
it's on
mate.
The players for me.
Mate, I'll agree with you, players, aye, but do you know what? Both of them will get it in the neck for me, and I don't care, because you can do what you want in Scotland, but see, when you come to Europe, you have to be pragmatic. See this 3-1 down and not shutting up shop and still getting Maeda to chase out the left back, and then the midfielder drops to the touch to the sideline, and no midfielder picks him up, and they just get out, and then Engels decides to go and get him, and at that point Emre Can goes into the gap that Engels has left, and then all of a sudden Adeyemi's running between the two centre backs. You could have put the Tower of Pisa in between them. There's huge gaps, mate, and not once. 3-1, 4-1, right, he's going to learn, he's going to change it, he's got to change shape. 5-1, it would have been 6 if the ref didn't blow the whistle. I'm telling you, like, it was just a battering, an onslaught. That's on Rodgers, it's on the players. The players just looked like they were like flustered. Scared. Like, the gap between Celtic and Dortmund was bigger than the gap between Celtic and St Johnstone, because I didn't see St Johnstone players hide away to try to do it. They just didn't have the ability. Celtic have the ability, yet they hid. Like, nobody's going to disagree with me. Celtic hid tonight. Alistair Johnston taking the ball first touch, no composure, no calmness, just panics, gives it away. Panic, because they pressed us so well. You have to get out of that. Look, I understand there's a huge jump between going to St Johnstone and going to Ross County, and then you come to this level. But look, they conceded 5 against Stuttgart, they conceded 2 against Bochum. Celtic had more than enough in their team tonight.
Well, you've seen it, like, even like Adam Ida, it's harder for him to miss than score,
mate,
and he misses, and then they go up the park and make it 7. That's the difference. That's the difference. Whether that's Kyogo or Ida, it doesn't matter. Even if it's just for pride, you need to put that in the back of your net.
Aye, and what I would say is, like, even simple things. If Johnston taking a throw in and he gives it straight,
he gives it away,
and then he gets the ball back again.
Gave the ball away.
Before that goal, he gets the ball and then he gives it away again. So he's giving it away with his hands and his feet.
Like, it's the point where if you're trying to play it for the back, that's fine, because we do it a lot. But if you're not, you need to realise it's not working playing it for the back. So you look, well, who got Maeda? Tiny. Kuhn, tiny. Kyogo, tiny. And then you bring on Ida and he misses a set like that. Which chance do you have?
But then we don't even miss out Schmeichel here. I know he's kind of fresh in the door and he's got a great record in Scotland,
beating his near post.
But near post, me and Paul disagreed on this in the stadium, right? For me, experienced goalkeeper from the Premier League has to save it. He has to save that.
What goal does he have to save?
Fifth one. The Adeyemi. No, the first one in the Adeyemi's.
In the roof of the net.
Maybe the second or third. Mate, he's at the corner of the 18-yard box.
He smashed it.
No,
he smashed it.
I get it, right? I get that, right?
He smashed it into the roof of the net.
I might look back at it, I might disagree with that. From where I sat, mate.
That's a total myth. A goalkeeper needs to save everything in his near post, mate. See if you smash it into the top corner. It's by him before he moves, mate.
I get that, right? But Daizan
and the first one's deflected.
Mate, Daizan Maeda is hopeless, chasing
he's
fairies, mate, in the sky.
For Adeyemi's hat-trick goal, Maida's gave it away. Maida's gave it away.
Like, terrible. Kyogo,
that's poor.
He might as well just ran to Germany, he might as well just run back to Scotland, because that's all he done tonight. And that's maybe harsh on him.
Even now we're sitting arguing about individual mistakes. It doesn't matter. Celtic is a collective, we're just terrible.
What I'm talking about Schmeichel is, on I think the 6th goal or 7th goal, Schmeichel, he tries to float a wee one out to Alex Valle at left back. Just put your foot through it.
The heats were gone at that point. The heats were gone at that point.
I know, but even that, he's experienced, he's 38, he's just played in the Euros with Denmark. He's got to have a bit of composure when people like McGregor. I know, but when people like McGregor, when it's 6-1 down, forget the manager's instructions, forget it, mate, and actually just step up and go, do you know what, bit of pride. Forget what the manager's saying right now, because do you know what, if the manager keeps going, it's 7 against PSG, it's 7 against Barca, it's 7 against Dortmund.
When's it going to stop?
Who do you want to go? 7 against Young Boys? Are we going to go 7 against that Atlanta? So forget what the manager's telling you right now, because we listened. Mate, I understand we're away from home, but Celtic have got to be better. Keep using excuses. We're away from home. It's Dortmund
that's
at
not
level.
An excuse. I'm just saying
that's
we're not
awful,
going
mate.
to lose 70, but Young Boys. Maybe Atlanta.
Mate, how?
Maybe Atlanta, because away from home. Young Boys isn't away from home.
Mate, and watching that, Celtic have showed me a different side to them that I've not seen in a long time, mate.
You've seen it every season for the last 10 years, mate.
Mate.
Away from home in Europe.
Mate, so how do we change that?
Against a big team.
If the manager can't better that, and any manager, Postecoglou, Brendan Rodgers, what are we doing as a club?
What you said at the beginning is a good point. We need to change the way we're playing away from home in Europe. it's not working. I mean, you think back to last season, like who did we beat at last? Atletico Madrid 6-0. Right, there was a red card. That's fine.
Wasn't even a red card tonight.
Right, but that doesn't
Feyenoord,
matter.
Lazio.
And then Feyenoord, red cards
2-0.
again, doesn't matter. Lazio, we lost. We need to change the way. You mentioned Gordon Strachan. I can kind of relate to that. We need to be more smart the way we're playing in Europe, because it's like you says, we're playing against St Johnstone and we're playing against all these teams at Celtic Park every week, and they shut up shop. And sometimes you get games at Celtic Park, they're like 2 or 3-0, and it's a boring game, and it takes us a while to break these teams down. And sometimes 1 in 10 times a team gets a result at Celtic Park. We need to be that team in Europe, because we're playing against Adeyemi, who's what, a 70-80 million pound player. And who's our most expensive player? Arnie Engels. He had a disaster tonight. That penalty giveaway, shambles. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's playing against the best team in Germany, one of the best teams in Europe. It's lightning years worth of difference, and we can't just expect, because we beat St Johnstone 6-0 and we're beating Rangers 3-0 and we're not conceding a goal domestically, that we can come here and just not give these teams a game, but not get embarrassed. Because we're trying to go toe to toe. There's a false confidence of beating teams in Scotland that we need to get rid of.
This is a bit style of play. So in Scotland we are streets and streets ahead of everybody.
I do get his
point. And we
point.
play in a certain way.
Of course, I do get his point. But
and the manager's philosophy is that we play in that way all the time.
Right, I get that, but
and
Engels...
so when you come and play against a team like this...
Engels able to just take a touch and then pass a ball and give it to a yellow top every time.
Mate,
Engels
he's
decides
under
to
the
kick
collective pressure,
I
mate,
know.
of the Dortmund press.
But what I'm saying is, if you want to have... Roger said in his press conference before this game, it's about mentality, and we're going to find out what the mentality is going to be like.
Mentality means nothing. As soon as you step out that tunnel and you look to your left and you see that massive, not even just 2 tiers like it is in Milton, you see those thousands and thousands of Dortmund fans, and then you've got a wee small corner of Celtic fans. None of those Celtic, even Callum McGregor hasn't seen that. None of those players have seen that. And when they look to that, they'll go, holy shit, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
But I said to Callum during the game that it's not really about mentality, because the mentality of the team was to go toe to toe tonight and go and press them, but they were tactically, technically, physically miles behind.
Mate. Mentality is to shut up short and not concede 7.
I actually agree with that.
But stop pressing at 5-1.
It's not the mentality of managing, mate.
I agree with you there.
So McGregor's got to go, boys.
No, he's not. How can he say, right, see whatever the manager's told you how to
Because you know why?
Forget that, just camp on your 15-yard box.
The first 15 minutes of the second half, we never pressed at all. We sat in, Hatate came on, and he was calm, he was composed in the ball. Whether that's Dortmund a 5 or up in the try list, maybe, but I can only judge what I see. That's Celtic were calm on the ball in the 15-20 minutes. Then they decided to go and press, bang, 7-1.
See the thing is about the second half, even though there was only 2 goals compared to 5 in the first half, the difference between the 2 teams was the exact same. Dortmund battered us the second half. Even though they were 5-1 up, they could have just went, no, we're going to just calm it down and take our best players off and see out the game. And they did that. They took Julian Brandt off, they took Adeyemi off. I know he got injured, but they took Adeyemi off. But they were still, honestly, as you said, we could have put together 2 passes and they were pressing us. But because we shut up shop a wee bit, it stopped us from conceding. That could have been, see if we had the same approach in the first half, in the second half, it would have been 9 or 10-1. We would have set a record. I know Bayern beat Dinamo Zagreb 9-2. If we played the way we did in the first half, as open as that in the second half, it could have been double figures.
At least it's over.
Look, the heavens have opened. It's over. Let's forget about it.
Let's go home.
We're going to Dingwall on Sunday to play Ross County.
What a big game
who we think we're streets ahead of. But another chastening, sobering night for Celtic away from home in Europe. That's it for full time the action. Thank you.